All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, Jeanette. So I want to say good morning to you. I'm hailing from Orlando, Florida, so you don't have to take a international guess at that one. But my name is Matthew Mocorro, and I'm excited to be here. I want to give a special thank you to you in attendance. I know it's Saturday morning, and appreciate you stepping up and wanting to learn more about how you can increase your profits and your returns, because that's what the whole day is full of. And I know a lot of the presenters that are speaking today, and I know I could speak for them, that they're really grateful for this opportunity. And I want to give a special thank you to Jeanette and the team between Webinar Expo and TradeThirsty. This is a fun event to be a part of. Now, what we want to focus in on is I'm going to zero in on some simple things. But before I do that, just a quick background of me. I'm a former executive in one of the largest financial education and trading software companies. In 10 years, worked with over, I would say, probably 2 or 3 million different people from all walks of life, from all over the world, supporting them with different ebooks to multi-$1,000 products, in the process creating hundreds of products from education, trading software, live trading rooms. And at the end of the day, I left that organization so I could spend more time at home. And I missed out on a lot of my early children's lives. I mean, they're only 4 and 5 years old, and I didn't want to look back in life and go, wow, I worked way too hard, 10, 12-hour days. I'm sure many of you could understand what that feels like. And so I stepped away and wanted to take my experience of working in the financial world and help more people, but in a more direct way. So I'm able to take millions of people's input, what's really gotten in the way of their success, and really fine-tune that into some of the best recipes to really help the everyday trader reach the success levels that they're looking for. So if something's happened in this industry, I've seen it. If something's happened to impact individuals trying to learn how to do this consistently, I've probably seen it. And so that's what I'm excited to bring today, is really a focus of providing simple and repeatable steps to trading. I want to empower you to achieve the success that you're looking for. And of course, we're going to talk about returns. We're going to talk about money, as Jeanette said, and zero in on simple techniques to generate profits. And you'll see at the end, we'll show you how to do it in seconds, but that's not the point. The first step is I want to understand, and I want you to really understand how to pick the right stocks to buy right now. I know it's Saturday, but we're talking about when you're in front of your computer screen and you're looking to trade, you've got that time set aside. I want you to be able to have a clear and concise plan of attack to go out and get high probable stocks to buy or sell, depending on which direction. You need to understand the next key point is what's the best price to buy or sell. Then how to set ideal profit target levels to maximize each and every trade. You want to understand how to set proper stop losses to protect your money. And of course, you've got to be able to repeat it over and over and over again. That's the key to success, no matter what type of success you're looking for. If you're looking for a couple $1,000s a month or $10,000, $20,000 a month, it's the system in which you operate in. I'm not talking a system like a robot. I'm talking about your system in your mind, your action steps, how you look at the market, how you look at trades. That's going to be the long-term success. So we're going to dive deep into that. It's really 3 things. We're going to focus on how to identify the trend, how to buy strength and sell weakness, all while maximizing profits and cutting losses. This is really the nuts and bolts of what we're going to do. Now, the tool or the strategy or technique that we're going to employ is one that's commonly known as the top-down investment strategy. I'm going to walk you through this strategy. I'm going to do this in a way that can be used across any charting platform that you have. If you have access to be able to see stocks or ETFs on a chart, could be a broker's chart, could be free, could be one that you subscribe to, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you a software. I'm going to teach on a software today that I have zero affiliation with. I'm going to use that for educational purposes because the bare minimum I want is you guys woke up on a Saturday. I want to give you some tools and some techniques that you can use anywhere. And that's my goal today, is to deliver some new ways to look at the market. So the top-down investment strategy is straightforward. If the overall market is bullish, then we want to find the sector that is most bullish. Then we drill in to find the stock that is most bullish. This also works the same way for bearish markets. So this starts at the top, and then we're going to drill down. The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to look at a typical company org chart. The CEO is on top, And then there are multiple levels below them. You have a president, VPs, managers, then the frontline employee. Who sets or is supposed to set the vision or the direction of where the company is going? That's right. The CEO is supposed to. They're supposed to. Now, some may argue that the ones actually closest to the customer or client really makes the company great. And in my experience, as being up in the C-suite level, I would tend to agree with you. Now, take this concept over to the actual market itself. The market's collective trend matches a typical org chart. On the top is the market, then the sector, then industry, which is a nuance that I'll walk you through, and then the individual stock. Now, the slowest to change is the market or the CEO, looking at the company org. So once that direction is set from the top, it's hard to move or change the overall direction. We're seeing that right now in the Dow, and I'll show you on the charts what that looks like. Right now, you're seeing that for the market to change, you've got to have the sectors change, the majority sectors change direction, then the industries inside of the sectors push, and then the stocks. So you get that bottom up movement. And the same thing happens on time frames. So when you're looking at shorter time frames, like 15 minutes, 30, 60, if you're a 5-minute trader, those have to change direction. Those biases have to change to then move the larger time frames. And so it works great on the individual stocks, and that's what we're going to talk about, because we're going to filter through. This is a filtering process that I'm taking you through. It's very difficult to look at 8,000 stocks at one time. So what the key is to be able to filter down multiple levels and zero in on the 3 to 5 stocks. Sometimes there's 7 or 8, sometimes there's 1 or 2, depending on the filter, that give you the best chance to buy the biggest momentum, get behind the biggest wheel, and maximize your profit. That's all we're trying to do here, is filter through. So the steps are straightforward. So if you got your pen handy, it's very simple. You're going to analyze the overall market. We're going to use the DIA symbol. We're going to use some ETFs just to get a broad scope look at the overall market. We're then going to drill in to the sectors, and we're going to use the 10 sectors that's commonly used. I'll show you some simple tips and techniques to look at that very quickly and not have to draw on multiple charts to get the information. Then we're going to drill down and analyze individual stocks that are inside the sector that matches the trend. Once we do that, then it comes down to determining the ideal entry, where do you put your profit targets, where to set your stop losses, and then you execute. So this is the simple steps in this strategy to filter all the way down from 8,000 plus down to 3 to 5, this process. Now we're going to look at these sectors. This is going to be the basket here. And we're going to be able to very simply, and many of the tools out there, many of the charting platforms that exist today that are anywhere from free to paid. Like I said, once again, I'm not affiliated with any of these softwares that I'm going to show you today. When it comes to the charting tool itself, I want to use this as a platform to teach. So this is what we're going to analyze. So as mentioned, I have zero affiliation. I'm going to use TradingView just because it's something that's simple and it's up there. That I've used it before in the past, and it's a simple tool to utilize for this demonstration. So once again, I'm not affiliated with this. This is for the teaching side of the content here today. So what I'm going to do is pull up the software. So I just want to make sure everybody can hear and see, since I switched over here, to make sure that you can see the screen still. So just type in a yes or I see it, some indication in the question section that everything's up and running. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. Thanks, Gana, Abe, Tom. Appreciate that. We got people from all over. I love it. All right, Colt's here, Mark. All right, perfect. So it looks like everything is good to go. All right, perfect. Now, we're not going to draw on the weekly yet. What I want you to notice is what I've done is just loaded up those 10 sectors. You can see them right here on the screen. The XLK, they're kind of grayed out. That's intentional. If not, your screen will look like this. Not much can be done with this. Now, I should show this and say, guys, I'm going to show you how to trade this. This would be, this looks like my 4-year-old son's artwork. My 5-year-old daughter is a little cleaner than that, but we'll say this is my son. So I'm going to clear this up for a second, and we're going to make this simple. Now, the first step in the top-down strategy, and this is such a great strategy because it can really increase your strike rate or your hit rate, which means how often you're getting your picks right when you're trading, because you're trading with the market. You're trading with everything in alignment. It's like the stars being aligned, right? So this is a weekly. I'm trying to get I need an overall global look at the direction. Now I'm going to draw some simple trend lines, because step one is we got to determine, are we bullish or bearish? And I'm going to look for your help today to define that. So I'm going to start with some simple trend lines drawn up here. This is a big outer trend line. Then we've got a nice little tight inner trend line here. On this tool. Now this is a very loose trend line because we haven't formed that low yet. But then what we also have on top is an additional downtrend line, a secured trend line. All right, so based on this, on the weekly chart, what do you think we're more likely to see happen? A bullish movement or a bearish movement over the next coming weeks? What do you think is more likely now that we're seeing it? Now this is an ETF. So this is not going to show the 20,000. So this is a combination of all this, but this gives us a good indication, a good look at the market. Okay, so I've got bullish coming in. I've got sideways. I've got a bit bearish as a comment, bearish. Not sure. Okay. Not sure to me is indecisive, which then means sideways. So you could be right, Aaron. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the most recent move this year. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to look at this. We can trade both sides. So we could trade bullish and we could trade bearish. So don't worry about getting it exactly right. What we want to do, though, is know that if we see come next week, this ETF, the Dow, the DIA symbol, start to move below this trend line, then the next stop is down here in this range. So the way that we look at this is a simple rule. Now, I'm very skilled in Fibonacci's, and over my time working with the Wizard, which is the company that I'm working with today, I only use one retracement. That's the 50%. So what you're going to see happen is the market either break through north, because we're in the point of indecision, and go after this high. This is an all-time high back here. Or more than likely we'll see is this continuation down of this test, more down into the middle range, into this wave. So for the point of this presentation today, since I've got a bias in the room today, I've got bearish, I got bullish. I do have one more person. I added up in my head because my name is Matthew, and I'm really good at math. So very quickly, I looked at this and said, okay, so we're going to go with the room majority, which is bullish. Now it's just slightly bullish. So let's all agree that for the purpose of the training, we're going to say bullish. But don't worry, if it goes bearish, I'll give you strategies of how to take advantage of the bearish side as well. So don't worry about that. So now the next step is, once we've identified and come up with the conclusion that we're going to go with the bulls, now what we have to do is drill into the sector, because remember, we want to filter through. Right now, this is a collection, a representation of thousands of stocks. It's a representation of thousands of stocks. So we've got to be able to drill in to get trading opportunities. And now this is a very manual process, but if you can learn it, it can be very powerful. So you imagine how these big hedge fund traders trade. They trade with the market, and they trade with big groups of stocks that they get in alignment, and that's how they're able to get those 2%, 3% consistently with millions of dollars underneath them. When you've got $1 billion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% is a big number to generate for your clients. How they do that is they trade at this high level. They don't look at one stock first and move up. They look at the whole spectrum. Then they whittle down into groups or baskets of stocks that are alike, that have the same type of company setup, that are moving in the same direction, part of the same sector, part of the same industry, and that's how they're able to have the returns that they have. So I'm giving you real insight into how the pros trade. And it's very similar to what we're doing today. So what we're going to do is just simply now, I'm going to add on. I'm going to clear out these trend lines just so you can see it. Don't be alarmed. We're going to use simple spatial intelligence. We're going to look at a line chart and determine if it's bullish or bearish. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So what I've put on here now is the technology sector. So looking at the line chart, I would say that we're bullish. However, same issue here. We're coming up against this resistance trend line up top. So this is, I would say, overall bullish as well. Okay, so that's technology. I'll keep track of this so you don't have to keep track of it. Next is consumer discretionary. What I'm looking for is I want to look for a clear winner. If I'm going to line up my stock trade to the most bullish sector, since we're going bullish on the Dow, then I want to see a clear winner. So that's fairly bullish. XLI is industrial. To me, that's bearish. See, the most recent runs here are bearish. So that's off the list. I'm going to get rid of industrial. Let's take a look at real estate. Is the real estate sector bullish? I think you can agree that that's a bullish one. I'm going to keep that on the chart. Then we have materials. To me, this is more bearish than it is bullish. I'm going to take that off the list. Now we're going to look at the financial index. To me, this is bearish. You can just see clearly we're in a downtrend with this green line. I'm going to get rid of that one. Then we're going to look at utilities. Is utilities bullish? I think we could agree it is. I'm going to keep that on there. Let's look at the consumer staples. This is a big triangle. Everybody see this? This is a big triangle. This is indecisive. This is not a clear direction. Even though the recency is up, look at how tight this is to this trend line. So to me, this is more indecisive and in the process of forming a big triangle. And with the other selections we've seen, there's other bullish ones that we don't need to even consider that one. XLV's healthcare. Healthcare also is not a strong bullish sector right now. We've seen enough clear bullish sectors that we don't need to worry about that. And then you have energy. And energy, as you can see, is also bearish or flat. So we're not interested in those. What we're interested in is what is the most bullish sector. So I think pulling up these charts, you have two to choose from. So we have real estate and we have utilities. In a time like this, I'm going to give you guys another tip. In a time like this, where you have this type of indecision, this really just turning point in the market, see, we're going to either have a bearish breakout and a big one because the next level to go after is down here at the 225, 223 range, a big breakout south, or we're going to have a test to the high and break out the high. So the markets tend to move back to the median, to the middle. That's how the markets ebb and flow. When you see a waves on a chart, it's because everything's trying to get back to the middle, deviation to the mean. And so by understanding that in this example, there's a lot of indecision that's going to happen. So what we want to do is the utilities sector is typically a safe haven. When things in the overall market tend to be sideways or indecisive, or there's a lot of political upheaval, whatever it may be, you tend to see the utilities come through as the number one utility or sector, excuse me. So we're going to use utilities. So after that simple walkthrough, we're going to now drill in. So step 3 is now we've got to find stocks inside of this sector of utilities that have certain characteristics that we want to analyze and look for buy, sell opportunities. But we're going to be on the buy side. I like to be a cheerleader. When I trade, I'm a swing trader. So I'm usually in a trade, usually about 3 weeks, 21 to 24 days is my average hold time on a trade. You can day trade this strategy as well. But we're going to talk about more of the long-term positions. I mean, I was in a trade for 8 days, just closed out a few days ago for 8 days. So, but my average over that time is about 21, 24 days. So when we're looking at this, we've now determined two of those key steps. If the market's in the direction, we're going to go bullish because of the recency, and then we're going to go to the bullish sector. Now, many of your screens out there, many of your platforms have an ability to do some basic filtering in basic screens. So on this one, this is a TradingView, like I said, no affiliation. This is just for teaching purposes. Your platform's going to look different. Your platform's going to have different abilities, which is fine. But most of them have an ability to drill down. So what we're going to do is we're going to now filter these stocks, and there's 4,700 tickers in here, symbols, 4,700. We're not going to trade 4,700, right? That's not the goal of this. So what we're going to do now is drill into the individual sector and filter only the stocks that are in the utility sector. That's all we're going to do. So now I'm going to filter down and look for only the sectors. If you can't find it, search it. There it is. So we're under utilities, just like that. So we've now taken, and I'm going to show you the filtering process. We now have 111. So we took from 4,700 down to 111. So you guys understand now the filtering process. This is what I'm trying to do, is whittle this down. The next thing I want to do is I want to find volume. Volume is such a huge part of picking out and filtering through stocks that have opportunities to move. And we're going to use an average volume. Since I trade more long-term, and that's what we're going to use today, I'm going to set a minimum of 500,000 shares on average being traded. I want to see at least that, because that provides liquidity on the basic sense. So once I've done that, now we've got 48. So I've taken it down from 4,800 or 4,000 to 111. Now I'm at 48. So just a simple step down process. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a 3-month performance, and I'm just going to filter through, and we're going to get the top 3 months. And so what we're going to be able to do now is really look at the whole spectrum. What's the weekly? And this is just the increase or decrease of the price of the stock. So skies, I'm not interested in. I'm looking for bullish movers. I'm looking for things that are moving bullish. See, over the weekly is down 9%. The monthly is down 38. The 6 months, 61. So this took off. So what this means is that it took off, but then since then it's retraced. Because if you have the larger performance higher than your most recent, and especially if you're red, that means you're seeing a retracement. So simple ways to look at this at a high level. So what I want to look for is the greens in alignment. So I'm getting a weekly, a monthly, and a 3-month. And what comes up is TERP. So what I've done is I've literally drilled all the way down from the thousands of stocks into this one. Let's see if we can get another one. There's AWK, there's a second. There's SO, there's a third. XEL is another one at 4%. See, these are all green, 1, 1, 4. That's what I'm looking at. So in the utility sector, the one stock that's really showing some good movement is this one. Look at the 6-month, the year-to-date, the yearly. So let's take a look at TERP. So we're filtering down, and like I said, you can do this on any platform that you have access to. I'm going to get rid of these tools real quick. We don't need to see the utilities anymore. And now we are on a weekly chart of TERP. So now that we've identified a stock that meets the filters, that meets the rules of engagement that we're looking for, now what we have to do is find what's an ideal entry point, where do we set profit targets, and where do we put stop losses. And I'm going to give you the way I do it, and if it makes sense for you and it's logical to you, then you can walk away with a new way of setting your trades. So on a weekly, I don't enter a lot of trades on a weekly, but I use the weekly, let me zoom out for a second, and do some basic analysis for you. Now don't worry, if this is cumbersome, I've got some tools to help, don't worry. But what I want to do is empower you to do this yourself, because if you can understand this concept, it's very powerful to do on your own. So here's our uptrend. This is a weekly, so every candle is a week of data. All right, so this is why it takes a long time to see movement because it takes an entire week to get a candle versus a 15-minute chart. You're going to get 900 plus 15-minute candles to represent this one candle here, right? It takes 7 days of a daily to make one weekly candle. So you can see the big movement here. So we're bullish. Let's start drilling down, and we're going to go to the daily chart. So now we're on a daily chart, and I did this yesterday in a presentation, and the market's reacting right off of my previous trend line that I drew. That's why it's already in here. So the market, it works when you can look at a chart consistently, time in and time again, but I've been doing this for 11 plus years. So when I'm doing this, now I want to look for these entry points inside of here. So this is a daily. Let's drill in to see if we can get some more swings. We've got this 1 day is bearish, which is going to be good because imagine the swings that happen in a 4-hour chart. So here's the 4-hour chart on the screen in front of you. So each one of these candles is 4 hours of time, all banging up against that trend line. Same thing here on that 1-hour chart. Let me widen these up so you can see the waves. Everybody see the wave now. So we want to find the breakout. If you look back, counter trend lines are very, very powerful when executed properly. So when you see the market break these trend lines, you see these breakouts that happen. Everybody see look what happens once the market breaks out and it comes up after the previous high. You see how it breaks out, retraces, breaks out. This is a sideways, but then there's a clear retracement and then a clear breakout. If you can identify these breakouts time and time again, this is where the big money is made. It's not entering in trades too late. It's getting them right at the closest moment to breakout. And you can see the runs that take place. Everybody see these breakouts? This is where the money is made. I promise you, if you can train your eyes to look at the market this way, run through the top-down investment strategy that I just did, this is a great way and a fantastic way. You can do this one strategy alone and be very successful. So now what I've done is now we're at the closest to market. So this high was back on the 19th. So beginning of this week, this high was formed. Over the week, we've had bears run, then retrace up, then try to break through, didn't break through. So what we want to do is we have to get confirmation. Most traders fail because you get in too fast. Most traders fail because they get in too fast. Like this prime example. You get in going, oh man, look at this, we're bouncing up. And then you get in now, but then the market retraces back because it hasn't yet fully committed to moving forward. So I'm going to apply one retracement tool. And we're going to do it from the breakout. Now, many of you may be familiar with Fibonacci's. I'm very trained and skilled in the art and science of using Fibonacci retracements. Since my time, I've now settled on the most powerful retracement, which is the 50% level. Everything's a deviation to the mean. Look what happened here on this gap up. So everybody see the gap. I just drew this line. This is my 0%. This is my 100%. Look where the market's at, is at the 50% line. It constantly wants to get back to the middle, constantly. And so what we're seeing now is a fantastic opportunity since the market has yet failed to break out above that 50. So what happens is that the market cannot close below 50. You're going to see a continuation and a move to test the breakout up top of the major previous high, which is this high. So depending upon how deep it goes before it turns, will give us targets. I know it's complex, don't worry. We've got simple rules for this that make it very easy to understand, but I want you to understand the concept today, the 50%. So I use this as a point of entry. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clear this alert that I had from yesterday here. Okay. Do I really want to? Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is set a pending buy order. So this would be my trade setup. So I want to buy at 1364. So I would literally put that in to my trading account, and it's a pre-buy. What I'm saying is I need to have the market break and get down to that level before it starts U-turning. So what I do is I put it right above. So this is the 50. I'm going to put it above this breakout because the market's here, and I want to get a confirmation that we will break through that trend line. So that is where I would set a pre-buy or stop limit order, which means the market has to hit that before I get into the trade. I don't sit here and look at my charts and go buy, 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 and smash my enter button. That's too emotional. So you look at the market with clear eyes. Prior to the price getting there, you run your analysis. So the way I do it is I put my limit order up in advance. So it'd be at 13.79. And what that does is says, I need this market to come up, break the trend line, and then beat this previous high. This previous high is the number, 13.8. So if it breaks above that, then the odds are in my favor that it's going to come up and test this high. I'm not looking for the breakout above it. I'm looking to get, I would say it's at this previous high here, so about $14.12. So it's a 50 cents per share. So if I'm buying 1,000 shares at 50 cents, that's a $500 move. Depending on how much you're trading per trade, this would be the setup. So I put my exit for profit at 14.12. I put my stop loss one tick below this previous low, so 13.66. So I'm risking 13 cents per share and going after 50 cents per share. That is an ideal risk to reward ratio where I'm risking 1 to go for 3.5, 4 times my money. So if I do lose and I trade the same way consistently, identify the same types of setups consistently, I can be a 30% correct trader and make money. So I'm removing a lot of the emotional barriers. I'm moving a ton of emotional barriers, aren't I? And that's the whole key to this concept is how do I put myself in the most unbiased position without all the emotional battle that happens in our minds. I've worked with millions of people. I understand, and I'm a trader, and I understand what it feels like to be in that paralysis mode of, am I right? Am I wrong? Sweating over a trade, and I know what it feels like. And so by taking yourself outside of that emotional roller coaster, setting up trades in advance of the market being there, the whole key to catching a breakout is being there ahead of the curve. These runs don't happen because of the retail trader. These runs happen because of the big money being traded. The hedge funds, the money managers, they're the ones that are moving the millions of dollars to push a stock value up like this. So you and I, the retail trader, we've got to be as close to the breakout, like down here, as possible. That is the key to this strategy. Yeah, so Rick's asking, exactly. So my pending buy would be above this high, so right above this high. So let's say 1381 would be my entry, but it's a stop limit order. So the market has to hit that price or I'm not in the trade. So I'd put a 3-day close order on that ordered line, right? So with I trade at TD. So I would put this is good for 3 days into my stop limit order. So that way, if it's not there within 3 days, then it'll just disappear. But if it gets in, then I'm the closest to the breakout. My stop, I go one tick below this low, which would be 1360. Let me see the low. So it'd be 1364. And then I would be putting my profit target at the close of this price of this candle, which would be 1406, one tick below that. And so that way, I got a trade set up in advance. I'm not chasing the market. The market's going to come to me. And that's what this is all about, is let the market come to you. Now, as I promised, I wanted to give you this type of content because this you can do on your own. You can do this with any platform that you have. You don't need me. You don't need a software to pay. If you've got a free service that could give you this data, then you're fine. But I do have a solution, if you're interested, to see how you can automate this process. So at this point, let me show you how you can automate this, because it's a fantastic strategy, but at the end of the day, it's not an easy one to do on your own. So this is why traders give up on it, because it takes an enormous amount of time and energy, and it's highly effective. But I've got a great solution for you. You're going to love this, because in seconds, as I promised you at the beginning of the presentation, how to show you opportunities that you can take advantage of in seconds. I'm going to show you some serious firepower based on algorithms. It's not going to automatically trade for you, but it's going to give you this data that I just walked you through in seconds. And that's just the top-down strategy in literally seconds. So at this point, we're going to do this. Identify the trend, buy strength, sell weakness, maximize profits and cut losses, and we're going to use our online platform and walk you through how to do what I just did in seconds. So we're going to analyze these 7 steps. Remember these steps. We're going to do it in seconds. So what we have in front of you is our wizard platform. The first step that we're going to do is we're going to evaluate the overall market trend. So our trends show you on top. Very quick snapshot of what's happening. You can see that we're bullish in this screenshot. Now what we do is we've got a section that says sectors and industries. Watch how simple this is. Once I do that, I've got a stack rank of all of the sectors listed out for us in order of the strongest momentum on top and the weakest on the bottom. All laid out in algorithms. You can look at the last 10 trends of each sector without having a chart in front of you, without having the skill to draw charts effectively and to be a chartist. It's laid out for you. You have industries laid out. So you click on the industries. You then get a list of the stocks inside of each industry ranked in most bullish to most weakest. You can click on the stocks themselves, and then now you're served up stocks that are in that industry, in that sector, in the trend of the overall market direction in a few clicks. Each one of these signals give you the symbol to trade, the entry price. So just like I walked you through and manually went through and determined entry prices, this platform does it for you automatically, looking for the same breakouts that I just walked you through. It gives you the profit targets. In fact, we give you 2 profit targets to go after. It gives you your stop loss so you can minimize your risk and protect your money. And it is a proprietary algorithm-based stop loss, so it adjusts up automatically for you to lock in the best profit all along the journey. And our pre-buys. So this is what it looks like as we went down into TERP, T-E-R-P, that symbol on the charts, and went down and drilled in to find where's the best place to buy. Well, this is what it looks like. Step 3, you get the symbol, what stock to buy, what's the price to buy it at, what's the exact profit target, and then how to set your stop loss. This is what you will have access to if you'd like the automated way of running the top-down investment strategy. Like I said, you don't have to use this. You can do it on your own like I walked you through. This is another way to do it, leveraging technology and algorithms that have been in use since 2002. 2002. These are not new on the block. Time tested for 17 plus years. And so let me walk you through this live. So let me walk you through this live, and you can see exactly how well and how fast this is. So this is the live version of the platform. So as we saw, the first step is we look at the top of the overall market. So visually, we've got 2 arrows, greens and reds. Reds are bearish, greens are bullish. Arrows on the right is the short term, arrows on the left are long term. So you got a quick snapshot of what's happening. Remember the same indecision we all saw on the chart is the same indecision that we have automatically with our algorithms. So the next thing is go to sectors and industries. Next step, you got the stack rank of all the sectors. We have 16. That's how precise we are. We take it a step further, 16. Very bullish for utilities. What do we do next? We go to industries. Then we find the most bullish industry inside of the sector, which is gas distribution. Then we simply hit view stocks. And now we have a list of 15 stocks with signals across nearly all of them. And you can see that our signals are right now 100% winning. 100% win rate across these 15 signals. Our P&L is 6%, 12%. We have an aggressive money management setting. So it's up 18% if you're a margin trader in 38 days. So just like that, we're able to drill in. What's the overall market? Let's go to the sectors. Let's find the sectors that are most bullish. Let's find the stocks that make up that sector. And now what we can do is just look for buying opportunities. On this industry, there's no buying opportunities. Everything's already taken off. And you can see that we give you everything that you need to trade the strategy. You've got a chart. You can see when we got into this. So we got in at the breakout. Remember the breakout? Look at the long. We got in at $61.29 back here. Remember the breakouts that we call? Right at the closest moment of breakout, we entered into this trade. You got two targets, 64.05, 67.17. When target one is hit, the 50% is our conservative money management. You get two money management strategies. I walked you through live on the chart, a conservative setting. Now in the software, you've got it built automatically for you. So at 50%, the rules of conservative are that you take 50% of the shares you purchased off the table. So you lock in profit. Once that 50% level's hit, your stop loss moves up to your entry, which means you break even at worst. The best case, you made money and you get stopped out and you already collected money on the trade. Then as the market moves above 50%, the stop loss then moves up to lock in profit. How awesome is it that when you get into a buy and your stop loss is above your entry, that means you're locked in even more profit. And this algorithm that's driven by the stop loss does all the legwork for you. It's not a trailing stop. This is a proprietary stop that looks at the previous up to 2,000 bars to find the best stop placement. And now that the market's running up to the next level, you can see how close we are to the stop to preserve as much of the money as possible. So to find trades, all we have to do is continue this trend. And now let's look at other industries. So let's look at the utility electric power. Let's see if there's any buy signals. So in a few clicks of my mouse without drawing, there's our buy, Duke Energy Corp. Everybody see this buy order? So this is a pending buy. So we're going to buy a Duke at 91.68, first target 94.04, second target, and your stop loss. This is what it looks like when you're doing a pending buy. So once again, you can see how we like to set our entries. We're waiting for confirmation of that entry. That's how we're able to catch these breakouts. This, Aaron says, this is pretty cool. I agree with you. I love this. This has literally changed my life using this tool. I used to be just like I showed you, doing this analysis over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. And now with this process, I don't have to do that. And neither do our subscribers that use this. That's why they love it. And this is one strategy. So just like that, I'm able to drill in. Now, throughout the market, there are many ways to skin this cat. But what you want to do is filter. Remember, I talked about filtering. So now that you understand how we use the top-down investment strategy, I can do this in seconds. You could trade the opposite way. We can look for bearish opportunities. Let's go for the biggest bearish stocks out there, which is this sector, autos, tires, and trucks. Look for stocks. I'm going to filter to only the weakest. See, we can filter to find only the weakest, the strongest. It doesn't matter. We can set it. And now what I've done across 25 symbols that are all shorts, 100% short trades, 95% win rate, 23 winning, 1 losing, average profit across the winning is 7%. And this is only 22 days. This basket is at 7% or 13% with margin. And the same premise here. Now we've got to sell. So same concept. Now I'm trading in the overall direction of the market. I'm trading in the bearish sector. I've got to sell now on PSIX. I can look at the chart. You'll see a breakout. Once again, this is what we're looking for, is a breakout See this breakout? We're trying to catch the low and the run down. So automatically you're served up with the closest to the breakout possible automatically for you. All you have to do now is pull up your brokerage account, like for my TD, and I go in and I set my pending sells, set my stop loss, set my profit target 1, and I walk away. And the market's going to come to me and get me in, or it's not, which means it then went the opposite way, and I don't want to be in a trade that's going the opposite way of where I want it to go. That's how straightforward this is. But as many of you know, there's other ways to filter. Let me show you quickly here some of the most dynamic ways to filter. We want to catch breakouts. We want to catch the strongest momentum stocks. So on the bottom, we have 8,300 symbols on the stock side. We have 1,700 ETFs that work the same way I'm working you through now. So we're going to use some filters here built in. This volume percent is very powerful. What this does is says, if I put 100% here as a minimum, that means I'm only looking for stocks that are at or above their typical volume being traded. So if they're at a million shares on average and they're only at 100,000 shares, I don't want to look at them. They're not performing where they should be. So watch what happens when I filter and show my results. I'm taking from 8,000 to 3,000. But let's say I want to get faster movers. Let's go to 200%. So what's double their typical volume traded? Now we're going to find movers, aren't we? 749 symbols. And these are only stocks that are trading 2 times their normal volume. So now I can just put in different price parameters. And let's say I want to go $10 as a minimum because I want to find stocks that are non-penny or non-pink sheets, right? And now I'm going to go down to 397. So just like that, I can now drill in and let's look at trends. I want to look at the strongest uptrend and only the weakest. So I want to look for the strongest bulls or the strongest bears. And I'm going to filter down. So now I've got 204. And I've got buys right on top. The strongest momentum in this filter is HIB at 23.89. So this tool serves up fantastic ways to filter top movers. Now we have in here built-in scans, so you don't have to do this on your own. So for pre-buys from the Dow, so this is a power top indices, so Dow 30, NASDAQ 100, Russell 2K, S&P 100, 400, 500. So all we're looking for are certain stocks that meet the biggest movement and the biggest opportunity. So you can follow our pre-built stuff. And there's 13 buy signals right here that you can weed through and pick the best one that makes most sense for you. We also have an ability to filter fundamentals, the fundamentals of the market. These are some of my most favorite scans because you imagine scanning earnings growth rate, EPS percentages, growth percentages, any type of fundamental company performance metrics we can scan against. And we can find and filter and use our technical analysis. So look at this. This is high-flying stocks, 13 out of 15 winning trades. Total profit is 15% without margin, with margin 30% in 21 days. 38 days, 56%. And not only that, we're not only good at calling the targets for profit, the entry directions, we're also good at calling the targets here. So target 1 was $70.87, which was 57% away. We're currently at $68, which is 55% away, almost at target profit 1. Target profit 2 was 14%. We're at 30%. On the short, we're at 23% was the target. We hit 25%. 33% is first target. We're halfway there at 16. We said 8.1%, you're up 11.28%. Hit that target. We said 7.6, you're at 9.5%. I love the 9 days. We said 4.7%. It's at 8.25%. So not only do we call the best stock to buy or sell in that moment, we call the trend, we give you the best entry, we give you the targets that we hit with a high level of accuracy, time in and time again, and you're able to follow along with very simple rules. I could talk about this for hours, and you could tell I'm very passionate about this because after all my years in this business, to be able to have a tool like this that can remove so much of the emotional roller coasters that happen, you can understand why I'm very excited about it. And so remember, identifying the trend number one, buy strength, sell weakness, maximize profits and cut losses. We leverage our algorithms and technology to do that for you. That's the legwork that's done. It's not a scanner like I showed you on just the TradingView side. We give you the exact orders to place. So let's make sure. You should now know how to pick the best stock, the manual way and the automated way. You should know the best price to buy, the manual way and the automated way today. How to set profit targets manually and automated, stop losses. And I hope the way I showed you, the automated way, can make it more fun than doing it the manual way. I do actually enjoy the art and skill of manually analyzing stocks. But it's a lot more fun when you have the automation. And Aaron says it, forget the manual way, automatic is the way to go. So I hope that helped. So this is what comes with the Wizard. 8,700 stocks, 1,700 ETFs, all the entry, exits, and profit signals, the trend monitoring tool that I showed you, a fully transparent P&L shows you wins, shows you losses, the top-down investment strategy that I showed you, one-click picks, unlimited portfolios. You can track your stuff on your own, 20 years of trend histories. I provide education and webinars to get you trading in minutes, and you can access this with any internet-based device. There's no downloads, Macs, desktop, laptop, tablets, iPhones. If it's a smartphone, you can do it. That's how accessible it is. And so I know many of you are asking, but this is what you get with today's special package. You're going to get a 4-month access to the stock and ETF scanner that I showed you. You're going to get 16 master trader webinars that I actually host every single week for you. You get my weekly alerts that I send out with my scan, so that way I can help you get momentum. And then I also provide a Premier Trading Hub access where you get checklists, videos, educational content to drive success. This is $1,893, and you get all that you see in front of you. And we believe so strongly in it that you get 30 days to go through it, risk-free. You get to have the best meal of your life, and if you don't like it, you don't have to pay for it. You'll get all your money back. That's how simple we make it. And to get started, all you have to do is visit thewizardnow.com. You'll automatically get your username and password set to you today. Within minutes, you'll be able to log in to the platform, go through my resource center. In literally a day, you can start getting up and running and take advantage of Monday. Monday's the trading day. There's enough content here in our trading hub to get you up and going and ready for next week. So thewizardnow.com. But we're here to give you special opportunities. I'm sick and tired of dealing with these massive paywalls that are out there. I've been in the business so long, I've been a part of it. So you have an opportunity today to get this 4-month package with the 16 webinars, with access to my signal alerts, the Premier Trading Hub access for only $399. If you want to continue after 4 months, you can continue on the $399, or at that point, we have different annual subscriptions available to you. But at this point, I'm not worried about the future. Let's take the opportunity and focus on the now. So go to thewizardnow.com for only $399 and get started with the Wizard platform. If you have questions, type them in. But right now, go to thewizardnow.com. This offer is good for the weekend. And this is a great opportunity for you. It's all about results. These are some of my scans and screens that I run. You can see the returns. 21 days, 30% margin profit. This one is 26 days, 47% margin profit. Is $400 today worth an opportunity to find out if this is real for you or not? It's real for me. It's real for our subscribers. But it only can be real for you if you give us 30 days to prove it to you. Get behind the wheel and drive it. Thewizardnow.com. A lot of questions come up about this, about the big stocks that are out there. Here's the big questions you get. Well, what about the big boys? This is where we're at with the FANG. Facebook, we have a sell at 164.08. For Apple, we have a long call we've been in since January 18th, up 5%. Amazon, we've been in a long call since March 12th, up 4%. Google, we just hit a profit target on that. Now we're at 0.1%. And then Netflix, we're down currently, and that's a new trade. It's only 3 days old, so plenty of time for the wave. I always get a lot of questions about the big ones, but you can set up your portfolios and monitor what to do inside of the platform without scanning. You can set up stuff you've already bought and monitor them here as well. So here's Apple on the chart. Look at the breakout. Look how early we got in. That's the key to this. Another breakout on Amazon. Time and time again, the algorithms work for you to get the best entry points possible and then help you manage your trade along the way. Here's Netflix long. We called the long, then we had the bear pullback. We're still in it, haven't been stopped out, so there's a lot of room to happen. But I want to show you this to say, look, even the major big boys out there, you can see exactly what's happening. We look at the market the same way every single time. Here's Facebook on the sell. Look at our pre-sell. We're not in it yet, but look at the breakout to the south that we're poised to enter south on. That's how dynamic this is. And for $399, folks, at least take the opportunity to see for yourself. You'll know very quickly. We have all the content necessary for you to get up and running today and go through it. So thewizardnow.com.
Matt, you can take some questions.
Right at 11. At this point, I don't know if Jeanette
can you hear me, Matt? Can you hear
questions? TWTR. If I have a few minutes or not, just let me know. But at this point, there's a lot of nuances to this, but I wanted to show you all the most straightforward and simple, basic way to get in front of trades. The manual way, which I hope you learned, and then you have the automated way, which is a few clicks of your mouse, as I promised at the beginning of the presentation. Both ways are very effective. Both ways are very, very effective. All right. Jeanette talking to me? Okay. So why don't we take some questions then? Yeah, no questions asked. All you have to do, Randy, is email in to the support line and we'll give your money back. I've been doing this too long to put all these hoops to jump through. You don't have to send a trade history. You don't have to send a track record. You don't have to do anything like that. You're going to be in communication with me and my team throughout the whole process. Literally, we are answering emails on the phones. It's usually about the first 30, 60 days. 60 days is really long term, usually about 30 days. And then after that, people just run their scans and they're on their own. Yeah, Callie's got TD Ameritrade. Yes, that's what I have. I have the same account. So I use the wizard to pull out my stocks, to get my signals, then I enter them. It's $3.99 every 4 months. John, $3.99 every 4 months. That's how much it is. That was a question. So option trading, Adam, is very straightforward. So the same concept. So what you want to find in options trading, at least my experience with my subscribers, is we want to find stocks that are moving, what direction they're moving in, and how much opportunity there is in the movement. So the way we do it is we go to select an index. I'm going to look for only optionable stocks. So I'm going to filter this another level, only optionable. I'm going to go the strongest and the weakest. I'll put prices, let's just put a price of $5 stocks. You can do anything you want. I want volume at least 100%. At least 100%. I'm going to show my results, scan it. So 8,300 is going to whittle down to 387. So now from in here, I've got HIB. We have a section in here more that has detailed quotes, key ratios, options chain, select options chain. And now you can go right into the chain and just look for your whatever strategy you're using. If you like in the money, near the money, whatever strategy you incorporate, and you can get all the data in front of you on the screen. But this is where you want to drill into, my options traders drill in by looking at the index and go to the optionable. That's the way we do it there. Yes, Elliot, there's a training course inside of here. So all of the, let me pull it up for you so you can see it. So we got it all laid out in an easy to follow format here. It's literally, as soon as once you purchase, you'll be taken to this page, this redirect right to this page. Thank you, welcome. And then in here, you've got your quick start steps, walk you right through it. Then you got your basic videos. These videos are less than 45 minutes. They're probably 30 minutes. These 11 videos here. And then I give you my setups. I give you strategies in here. So basically you take this, put it on your system and hit save. And now you've got my scans, the way I scan the market. You've got the bearish scan, and then you'll have a day trading strategy in here. And I upload new videos all the time in here. New videos. So same thing on the ETF side. So a lot of questions about ETFs, same premise over here. See the ETF tab? There's an ETF tab on here. And I can scan the same way. So let's go the strongest and weakest. Let's do volume percent on my ETFs. 1,700 down to 176, 90% win rate, 3% profit. And you can come in here and see all the same information. All right, Johnny. I'll reach out to you, Johnny. No worries. I see you in the system. I'll get you set up, Johnny. Not a problem. So Forex is separate. So this is the $3.99 is for our stock and ETF package. Forex is different. That's why I didn't talk about it today. It's still awesome. It's still an awesome tool. But at the end of the day, you still get your entries on the, it's the same price. If you're interested in that, on the Forex side, we'll have to get in contact with you. Futures, we have a futures package as well. You can find it on the wizard.com website. Same process on the futures side. Here's all of our trades right now. You could filter them. Less filtering up top. All you have up here is your trends. What type of futures? You can drill in by category. You can select your trends still. And then you get your same pending buys. So you get all your entries. So 1,700 per contract, 300, whichever strategy. I don't trade futures, but my futures clients love it because just like here, we got a gold buy, same premise. It works. It all works the same functionality. Stocks, ETFs, futures, Forex. We're looking for breakouts. There's charts, there's data, and so that's all we need, and we can generate the same type of high-performing signals. Yep, so we've got the 3 times ETFs in here. Yep, so we have all that. So the question was, do you have the 3 times ETFs? Yep, all that's in here. All that's listed, we've got 1,700 of them. So you can see there's a full plethora. I love that word, plethora. Full plethora of tools and symbols to trade. So the data is refreshed every 15 minutes on 15-minute signals. So it's all based on the signals. So if you're day trading, then every 15 minutes, your signal's updated. We don't get below that because that's tons of data. But our 15-minute signals on the stock side work the same. Right now, we're very bearish on the 15 minutes. So scan the 15 minutes. $2 or more. The shorts are not going to look good there. We'll go 5,000. We'll do $10 minimum. 5,000 average shares because there are less shares traded in 15-minute increments. Scan them on the 15 minutes. We have 189 symbols with trading opportunities. And you can see same information. This is 15 minutes. 90% are biased to the short. So we've got a ton of short opportunities. Tons of shorts right now. So the wizardnow.com is the website. Wizardnow.com. There's a special gift too on that. Plethora, highfalutin word. That's right. The stocks and ETF are one package, and then you have Forex is its own unique package. So if you're interested in the Forex one, I have to send that to you. That's a separate link to get started with it. Yeah, you can go biotech. You can search for, I've got a scan here. I've got a save scan that I use. Excuse me, a list that I monitor for. Let me show you we've got some great tech stuff in here. So I've got some, this is one of my favorite scans, strong techs and 100% alpha. So alpha is a fundamental. So here's 10 of our stocks, our tech stocks that this is a special list that we have together, special scan that uses fundamentals and technicals. And this one you can see is on 26 days, we're up 23%, no margin, 47% margin in 26 days. So anytime I get a buy signal in this screen, I take it. Oh, BPTH. If you haven't seen BPTH, we got in that thing well early. BPTH. Yeah. Biopath Holdings. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. This is when we called the long on BPTH, which is up 1,200 something percent. Back here, 2.74. So back here before the breakout.
Hey, Matt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, all right. I've got another speaker. We're going to change the schedule up a little bit. So if you could wrap up, that would be fantastic. I appreciate you hanging around for an extra minute.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So, yeah, so like I said, here's BPTH. I'll wrap up, but this is how we time entries. See how early we got in, where my cursor is? That's the power of the breakouts. And the only way to identify that is you got to have the volume lined up, know what direction you're trading in, and have the actual wherewithal to know how to get there. So one last one on Boeing. Here's the short. We call the short here. We are in this short up top as well and took profit. So I was in an event in New York and went over this right after the unfortunate accident of Boeing. But we were in before it, and we're now in a current short on this. Yep. Yeah, Paul. 100% win rates. That's off the current signals that are open in that moment. Yep. Current signals that were open based on that scan. Yep. So that's how that works. But if you haven't yet done so, visit us, thewizardnow.com. I know many of you are interested in the Forex side and all that. I'm sure Jeanette and I will be able to help, so it's not a problem. We'll get you guys information on the Forex side in the futures package as well. But today we wanted to focus on one market. Well, we'll call it two, stocks and ETFs. But at that point, thewizardnow.com is the website. Give us 30 days. Be a believer yourself. And then you'll see me Tuesday in our subscriber-only event. So I appreciate your time and happy trading, everybody. Thank you for joining us.